Okay.
Let's give it a shot.
All right. We are on the air, live and in person. And I am joined, as always, by my co-hosts, Aaron Simmons and Zachary Brandevold. Here we are tonight, guys. I'll start with you, Aaron, since it looks like Zach may be having some technical difficulties. Aaron, how are you this evening?
I'm doing very well. Had a very good day today. Very relaxing day. Sorry, getting shot here. And you know, kind of the last weekend we'll have without NASCAR, and I'm glad for that. I'm ready to be talking about the 500. It seems to be kind of just getting closer, but not close enough for my liking, and so I'm ready to watch some daggum NASCAR. Damn it!
This is it. This is Speed Week. It starts right now.
Woohoo! Finally.
Yeah. So, Zach, thank you for joining us. Hey, Mike Hora, how you doing? Zach, we can't hear you. Zach,
Okay.
You there?
Yeah, he's here. I guess trying to fix some mic issues, but
yeah.
Anyway, Tom, how are you doing?
I'll tell you what, I am doing okay. I'm going with my Johnny Depp Pirates of the Caribbean look here tonight. So,
well, I think it looks good on you.
Kind of on the goofy side, but I always wanted that long goatee that he had that I'm sure is not real, is just glued on, but I thought it was cool. But this is as close as I can get. And when I scrunch everything all together, it covers up all the gray. So, but I've had a pretty good day. I got the computer fixed today. So that annoying from the fans is gone. I got a nice quiet computer today.
Can you guys hear me?
So,
Hey,
Zach,
there
thank you for
buddy.
joining us.
Oh, finally. My word. All right. Sorry about that. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk some NASCAR. We got Daytona coming up. Final weekend without racing over, at least for the short while, and it's nice to see your faces. So
it's Speed Weeks. When I was a kid growing up, my dad actually went to Speed Weeks like 10 years in a row. And he got to the point where he would actually come home and watch the 500 on television because he said it was a better seat sitting in front of the TV than being at the track. That was back before they had jumbotrons and before they had scanners so you can hear everything and all that stuff. But he would go and they would watch the Clash and they would watch the qualifiers and they would hit Volusia County and all the dirt tracks that ran around Daytona all week long. He had a ball. But when I was a kid, every time he would leave, it would snow. He would barely get out of the state, and we would have a massive snowstorm every time, and I would always get a few days off work. So I love my dad, but I like to see him go to Daytona because I knew there was snow coming then. It worked every year. So anyway, we got a little bit of a different show because we don't have any race to talk about this time. So, but that'll be the last time that'll happen for a while.
Last and final time.
Exactly.
Yep. And I am joined by my canine co-host here, Lola. Sunny will probably make an appearance shortly. She's checking out the goatee fashion statement. So, but first up, let's get into the show. It is news time. So we got several news stories to cover since we don't have any racing to cover. We're going to spend a little more time catching you up on the news. What do we got going on with the news, Zach?
Absolutely. All right. So kind of a busy week in the news channel. Hold on one second. All right. So our first little snippet is going to be Trevor Bayne is back in NASCAR for 7 races in the JGR 18. Their first race will be in Fontana, sponsored by Devotion Nutrition. What are your guys' thoughts? Aaron, you want to start with you?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, as a Knoxville native myself, I gotta love our Knoxville boy Trevor Bayne coming back to NASCAR. I feel like he didn't do great in his Cup Series career. I mean that's all well known, and I got to admit it kind of hurt my heart a little bit. But I am glad he's getting a second chance at JGR because Because as Mark Martin once said, your first chance is rare, a second chance is even rarer. And especially with a powerhouse in the Xfinity Series like Joe Gibbs Racing, I think this is just like with a few other drivers in the Cup Series, this is put up or shut up time for Trevor Bayne. And I sincerely hope that he does well enough to kind of earn him a spot back somewhere in the NASCAR Series stable, because I think he is a very talented driver. More than what the results say, I think he's a very talented driver. But hopefully this will kind of lead him back into a great career in NASCAR again.
Absolutely. Tom, what are your thoughts?
I did not know that Trevor Bayne was as young as he was. It just seems like it was a long time ago that he won that Daytona 500, but I realized he was only 20 years old at the time. He is only 30 years old. I thought he was older than that. One thing that I think is very interesting here, that I would love to know the financial terms of the contract, because Joe Gibbs apparently likes to take, knowing that he is a powerhouse team and that he has got great equipment, he takes advantage of that by taking drivers who really want to prove themselves and doesn't really pay them well. Okay. Didn't know this until today. Daniel Hemrick's contract last year, he had zero as a salary, and he didn't even get his earnings at all races. He only got to paid if he finished in the top 5. So I am wondering if Joe Gibbs is using that as a model and has struck a similar type deal with Trevor Bayne. At any rate, I wish him well. He was the last time the Wood brothers won the 500. It was with Trevor Bayne. He's definitely knows his way around super speedway, so I'm glad to see it.
Absolutely. And I can't share all the praises about this move more than you guys can. I think it's awesome to see Trevor Bayne back in the sport. I think it's kind of shocking. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I think it's kind of shocking out of the blue to see him sign with JGR. But I think he'll perform, because we got to remember when he moved to the 6 at Roush Fenway Racing, they were absolutely god awful. So I don't necessarily think he got to show his true talents behind the wheel during those years, and obviously he was let go. But I think this, like Mike said, it has to be one of the biggest shocks here, because we hadn't heard anything from him other than his one-off truck series ride with Nice last year. So got a bunch of new drivers coming up that we talked about over the years. Greg Biffle coming back this year, that kind of thing. I see a reoccurrence of a resurgence of some of these other drivers. But anyway, speaking about Greg Biffle, our next news segment is Greg Biffle and NY Racing are a confirmed entrant for the Daytona 500, marking their first Cup action since 2016 and 2018, respectively. So Greg Biffle hasn't competed since 2016, and NY Racing hasn't competed since 2018. They will be sponsored by Grambling State University, and I just got to say, this car, and I don't know if I think we'll see it a little bit later, is absolutely awesome. Awesome paint scheme. But anyway, what are your guys' thoughts? Tom, let's start with you.
I like Biffle. I like Biffle. I like the way he raced. I remember seeing him race in Charlotte all the way back when he was in the Xfinity Series. I'm glad to see him back. 52 years old. I'm not sure he would be considered in his prime, but it'll be interesting to see what he can do, because he's crafty. So I think it's a good thing to have him back. I think he'll be popular. So I'm excited to see it. Let's see what happens. Bring it on.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. What about you, Aaron?
I've said this before. I'm always happy to see Greg Biffle back in NASCAR. He was kind of there during the glory days of NASCAR when I was just starting to first get into the sport. He was right there, and he was always competitive and always got to watch out for week in and week out over in Roush. And I gotta admit, this paint scheme is pretty sick looking. I do like it. The hood, I'm not a huge fan of the hood, but you know what? I think I can look past that with this one. This one's just pretty neat.
You know why that paint scheme looks so awesome? Because it's black and gold. It's the Steelers colors.
Oh, yeah.
That's what makes it awesome. You can't go wrong with black and gold, okay? I'm just telling you.
It has a big old Green Bay Packer G on it. That's why.
Or Georgia Bulldog. Which
No, Georgia ripped that off from the Packers. They actually asked him to
true.
use it. Same with Grambling State, so you know.
That's true. But then again, I can't really talk shit because my high school team ripped the Chicago Bears logo.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But was that all that you had to say about that, Aaron?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I'm glad to see him back. I'm curious to see what he can do at 52 years young. But like Tom said, he's a crafty SOB, and so we will definitely have to kind of tune in and see what that old boy can do.
Yeah, you know, I will have to say here, you know, I'm ready for Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr. to come out of retirement, and maybe Carl Edwards, and with all these drivers coming out of retirement and long time hiatuses, I'm ready to see some more big names make some one-offs. That would be nice. But
Mark Martin.
Yeah, Mark Martin. You know, he's
for one last ride.
Exactly. I'm sure you can convince him on Twitter. But awesome for Greg Biffle. And you know, it's good to see NY Racing actually finally, you know, get a car there. We did confirm this. They did. Not only did they make it the entrant list, but we did see the actual car at the track for testing. So. This is good for them. Good for them because I know they've been talking about it for quite a while, and we'll have to see what they do. I think the car looks super professional compared to some of these other cars. The Money Team, that car looks absolutely awesome. I can't get over it. Yeah. But anyway, moving right along. Anheuser-Busch and Busch Beer brand has announced that it will spend $10 million over the next 3 years to sponsor every woman driver in NASCAR who's over the age of 21. And it will be called the Accelerate Her program. Aaron, what do you think about this?
I like it. I mean, I think the sport, it is going in a more diverse path, of course, with Bubba Wallace and, of course, with other drivers, you know, of more women being in the sport, like Danica Patrick, Jennifer Jo Cobb, and even Haley Deegan now is starting to throw her hat or throw her name into the hat of drivers who are not this typical old white guy sport, or in this typical white guy sport. And now you're starting to see the kind of the rise of female drivers come in. And I think that this sponsorship by the Anheuser-Busch company is a great foothold for these drivers because, you know, NASCAR is a sponsor-driven sport. If you don't have sponsorship, you're probably not going to go far unless you're just really damn lucky or really rich. And so I think this is a great foothold for these drivers to kind of just have some sort of financial backing and really kind of hopefully kind of let their talent shine in the sport.
What about you, Tom?
You know, I saw the picture of him, and I honestly, it didn't hit me how many women we already had in NASCAR until I saw that picture. So my first thought was, wow, I'm impressed we've already got that many women drivers. But yeah, I echo Aaron's statements. I think it's great for NASCAR. I think it's going to help out with the female fan base, and I think it's going to be good to make these drivers more competitive. On the negative side, the fact that people will absolutely complain about anything. I saw this, and the first comment I saw when I saw this on the Facebook post or something was, why aren't they sponsoring Haley Deegan? Okay, read it, okay? Haley Deegan's not 21. They are clearly only going to sponsor people who are of legal drinking age. But and then I saw that same comment repeated over and over on different posts. Okay, Haley Deegan is not 21, and they are sponsoring people who are of legal drinking age. So no, I think it's going to make these women more competitive. And I was surprised to see how many women we already had at the upper level in NASCAR. So I'm all for it. I think it's great.
Absolutely. I share those sentiments. You know, one thing I will say is I don't see how anybody can complain about this. This is Busch Beer and Anheuser-Busch investing in the sport. You know, anytime that you see somebody committing $10 million towards NASCAR, you should be jumping up for joy because that's exactly what we wanted to see. Now, the fact that they're promoting women in motorsports is absolutely amazing as well. We've seen Haley Deegan, and even though she's not being sponsored, I will say, but Jennifer Jo Cobb, Natalie Decker, all have had promising drives And I think it's good when you invest in being more diverse as well. So we'll see how this plays out, but I'm excited. I think it shows a real commitment for Busch, and it's good for NASCAR. But moving right along, Jeff Gordon states that Team Hendrick is open to letting Kyle Larson race in the Indy 500 even this year. And Rick Hendrick added that they're also eyeing other series to potentially enter Team Hendrick for the future. What are your guys' thoughts on this? This is kind of interesting. Tom?
Wow, my how times change. Remember when Rick Hendrick wouldn't even let his guys run in an Xfinity series, and now you've got him running, sprint cars, and they're running the Chili Bowl, and they're potentially running in the Indy 500. Times they are changing, and I give Rick Hendrick credit for changing with the times. I think it would be a huge deal, and Kyle Larson is the proverbial guy that if it's got 4 tires and a steering wheel, he can drive it and maybe win with it. So I think he's a great candidate to do it. Imagine what it would do for the sport if he did pull it off and pulled the double and won that and won the Coca-Cola 600 in the same day. Imagine what it would do for the sport. So I think it's great. And I'm going to say this isn't the only time he does it. I'm saying we're going to enter a string here of probably 3, 4, 5 years where he does it every year. And I think that he's put enough distance and shown enough quality characteristics out of who he is as a person that I think he's going to find a sponsor for it too. So I'm all for it, and I think that I think this is not going to be a one-shot deal. So that's my thoughts on it.
All right. What about you, Aaron?
I completely agree. I mean, Larson has shown that he has the talent to drive damn near anything with 4 wheels and an engine. And so I really think it's only a matter of time before he actually says, you know what, Hendrick, I respect you, but I'm going to go out and run this anyway because it looks fun. And, Larson has shown that he will spend every single day out of the week to go race somewhere across this country, race anything. And so it would only make sense for him to do the Indy 500 and hell, even the double. And so... I completely agree with Tom here. I mean, I think it was only a matter of time before Hendrick let him do it anyway. I mean, hell, in the first year at Hendrick, he already won a championship, and why not let the kid run out and go do the Indy 500 and see what he can do there.
Absolutely,
and maybe even possibly be a test driver if Hendrick wants to go into IndyCar. Possibly, who knows?
Yeah, I will say I think that this I think IndyCar wants Kyle Larson to join because I think he just won the championship. He has a lot of name value. He will bring the fans. I think this deal solely relies on whether or not Kyle Larson wants to, because Hendrick is very well open to doing it, as they've repeatedly stated. It's just whether or not he wants to, and whether or not they can put the seat together. It's going to be a heck of a time if he actually does do the double, especially as a rookie, IndyCar rookie, trying to complete the rookie program for IndyCar is going to be pretty rigorous. So it'll be interesting to see. I think the more interesting aspect to this is that they're potentially going to enter Team Hendrick into other series. Right now, all their main focus, their sole focus, really, is NASCAR. They have an IMSA team, they don't have IMSA. They co-own an IMSA team, the 48 Ally Chevy, for that. But their sole focus right now is NASCAR. The fact that they are open to going into other business ventures is absolutely crazy to me because, like you said, Tom, they're not typical for that. So, thank you. I just saw that. But anyway, I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's awesome for Indy. I think it's awesome for Team Hendrick getting their name out there. And I think it's awesome for Kyle Larson's brand. I really think that I think this is going to be good for him. And I hope that they get it done here shortly because he has all the luster that the sport needs. But moving right along.
Zach, wait a minute. Okay. Did you just say it's up to Kyle Larson if he wants to? Come on. You really think that's the question that you take a quarter of a second to answer and say, absolutely, yes, I want to.
Yes.
And with Kyle
Well,
Larson and the number of different things he can drive, okay, show of hands. Everybody here who would turn down a ride in the Indy 500. Okay, anybody, audience, any comments?
I'm
Anybody turn down a ride? He's not going to turn it down. Who would turn it down? It's a chance to drive in the Indy 500.
absolutely, but he has to find that. He has to find that ride. I don't think that
It's Kyle Larson. He'll find a ride.
I don't think Hendrick, and I don't think anybody is. Hendrick is not going to be going out and knocking on teams' doors telling him to field a car. It's up to him. He's going to have to find the ride, but I'm sure he'd say yes. But it's just a matter of getting that ride. Most of the rides this season have already been fielded, but there potentially could. I mean, we got a long way till Indy 500, so who knows? But like I said, it's up to him to go find a ride at this point. I think that's all that matters. But
I don't think it's really Larson trying to find a ride. It's just at this point, will a ride find him? And the answer is yes.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of talk on both sides. So I think maybe teams are starting to take it more seriously as far as Kyle Larson's wanting to do it. I mean, I don't think we've heard from the man himself other than an offhand comment at a dirt race saying that he'd be open to it. But, I think it happens here in the near future for sure. But moving right along, our last little news segment of the night is going to be a group of NASCAR drivers have revived the Drivers' Council in a bid to have more collective effort in addressing the bevy of new changes and initiatives going on in the sport. So they did have the Drivers' Council a while back. They canned it, and now they're bringing it back. I can't really tell you who's in it. Maybe this.
According to this article, it's
chaired by Jeff Burton, I think.
It is
Jeff Burton with Kurt Busch, Austin Dillon, Denny Hamlin, Corey LaJoie, Joey Logano, Kyle Petty, which is a weird one, and Daniel Suarez is confirmed.
Current and former drivers.
Current and former drivers, yeah.
So this is going to be interesting to see, but what are you guys' thoughts, Aaron?
I mean, if it allows drivers to kind of have more of a voice in what they see in NASCAR, in what direction NASCAR is going in, then I fully agree with it. I mean, we've seen. I mean, go back to about a decade ago with Bill France. What was it, Jr.? Bill France Jr. leading the sport and kind of his iron fist on things, and kind of you saw where the sport went. It went in the tank quick. And so if the drivers can actually get their voice kind of included on these meetings, maybe they can right the sinking ship, and maybe they can get sort of the fans back, and maybe kind of bring back some things that were previously axed or brought down. And so right now, I see it as a good thing, but only time will tell. See if it really is going to be beneficial to the sport.
What about you, Tom?
I find a lot of things interesting about this. One of which is there's no Tony Stewart on there and no Stewart Haas drivers on there, I don't believe, unless I overlooked it, which he has been probably the person who's been the most outspoken when he feels like NASCAR has done something wrong. He's got experience running a series as his own. He can bring perspective as a track owner, car driver, and series owner. So I think they missed something by not having Tony Stewart or a Stewart Haas representative on there is one. Second is I read this article, and the way it is phrased and the way it is presented, it's the drivers brought this back. It doesn't sound like NASCAR asked for it or wanted it or cared about their input. They just kind of decided that they were going to do it, and these are the guys that are going to have. When you get way down in the article, there's a comment from a NASCAR executive saying we value their input or whatever. But it's like I kind of get the feeling that the drivers kind of did it. It just gives you the feel that the drivers kind of said, we're going to form this council and we're going to make our voices known, whether NASCAR wants to hear it or not. That's the feel I got from reading the article and looking at the headline and the way everything was phrased. So we'll see how much NASCAR has to NASCAR really wants to hear what they have to say. I think it really shocked me last year when they talked about tearing up Atlanta, and NASCAR said, "Well, yeah, what drivers want and what fans like really isn't how we make our decisions." And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
Nice
not sure
marketing.
where you're going to be without drivers or fans, but okay, don't go ahead, don't listen to them.
That is an interesting marketing strategy.
Yeah.
I thought you were supposed to cater to your audience, but okay.
But I will say they do have one confirmed team owner on there, and that's Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
And so I guess he can give the team owner's the team owner's perspective on things. There's a much value, I guess, perspective on things to see whether or not whether or not things will get going the way they are.
One thing I will say though is towards the bottom of the article it says that the racing alliance, the racing team alliance, which has all the major teams for cup teams, organizations, will be working alongside this council of drivers. So you'll also get the team interaction as well with the driver council. I don't know what kind of decisions that they'll be making. I mean, will we see the kind of like I just lost my train of thought, but will we see the strikes that we've seen in NASCAR before over some decisions that'll be made in the future? I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I think
too much money and too much sponsorship at stake to see drivers not participating. Won't happen.
That's true.
Sponsors would have a fit if they're writing huge checks and the car and driver that they're paying for decides to not go on the track. I don't see it happening.
So yeah, who knows? But anyway, that's all we got for the news segment this week. Pretty awesome articles for sure.
Okay. All right, let's get into the race preview because it's race week. Enough news. Let's talk about racing. So first up, let's talk about who we pick as a winner for the Daytona 500. Let's go with a winner as a favorite type of person and a long shot or Cinderella story. So who you guys got this year as your winner and your Cinderella story? Zach, you want to go first?
I'm going to go with somebody a little bit unconventional, but he's had consecutive top fives in the past two Daytona 500s. I'm going to go with Harvick. I think Stewart-Haas Racing is going to have a little bit of resurgence. Plus, you can't go wrong with all the Fords in the field working together. We see that every year that at least three of them are up towards the front, mixing it towards the win. I got to go with Harvick. I think he has not won Daytona since I think 2007, but I think he gets one here. He gets back in victory lane. First race of the season. He's typically pretty conservative when it comes towards the stages, and then gets up there towards the end somehow, avoids all the big wrecks. So I think he's going to win for sure.
You're supposed to pick Cinderella too, Zach.
Oh, I didn't know.
This is your segment. You wrote it. Come on.
I know. I didn't know we were doing both at the same time. Okay. In my Cinderella, I think he has had two consecutive top 10 finishes, but never inside the top 5. I'm going to go with Corey LaJoie with the equal car. He seems to do very well on super speedways, especially Daytona. I think he potentially could get his first ever win here at Daytona if the right circumstance happens, and I would love that for him for sure.
Okay. Tom, you want to go next?
Sure. Okay, so here is the deal. I think Daytona is such a wild card, and anybody can win, and you don't even know who's going to be left at the end. So I am going to say, if I was picking somebody, I am going to go with, let me find him here. Where is he at? So I can read off my stats here. Ryan Blaney. Okay. Average points coming out of Daytona for 4 of the last 5 races, 33.8, which is, I think, 4th highest next to Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, and Austin Dillon. He has won at restrictor plate tracks before. He won the last time we were at Daytona in August, so he's got the place figured out. He is the guy that when it comes down to the finish of the restrictor plate tracks, he's always in the picture. He's always right there in the picture. He may not be the car that's right there, but he's thousandths of a second away. So I'm saying Ryan Blaney is going to be my favorite. Okay. Now, if I'm going to pick a long shot, my long shot is, drumroll, Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace, for the last 5 races, you exclude his worst finish, which is 19th. He's averaged a 10.8 finish. He won at a plate track at Talladega. His average points for Daytona, 36.8 points. So he's usually there at the end, and he usually racks up stage points. So if I was picking a Cinderella, I am going Mr. Bubba Wallace. So those are my picks for long shot and favorite.
All right. Interesting.
All right, Aaron, what do you got?
Well, even though I didn't write my Cinderella or my winning driver down in the agenda, you took my Cinderella one, Tom, so dadgummit. For my winner, I gotta go with probably Denny Hamlin. He's been up there. He has led a ton of laps in Daytona, and really he's been a threat to win there for the last 5 years. And eventually one year he won damn near everything except for the 500. And so I got to go with Hamlin for my winner. And for my Cinderella, damn, I guess I took both my Cinderellas. How dare you? I'm probably going to go with McDowell. He's been, according to this practice, he's been fast. He's won there. He's a previous winner there. And it looks like he's been fast this week also. And so I'm probably go with McDowell as my Cinderella.
Was going to.
Sorry, go ahead,
Zach. You took my. I was going to announce the practice results here after you took that from me. I'm just kidding. We can announce them in a second.
Okay. All right. Mike Hoare is saying Austin Dillon and the long shot as far as Austin Dillon. I've took the last 5 restrictor plate tracks, dropped off the worst finish because everybody's going to get wrecked once. Austin Dillon averages coming out of Daytona 35.4 points. That is third after Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin. So I think Austin Dillon knows how to run restrictor plate tracks too. Austin Cindric, one restrictor plate start in NASCAR, finished 15th, but I think he was running top 5 and got taken out last lap. So I like the Cinderella Cindric pick. I really do. I think he's going to make a splash in his official rookie season, even though he ran one race last year. So
alrighty.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hits and misses. New segment. Okay. So in this segment, we are going to predict who will get into a wreck and who will avoid it at Daytona. So, what do you guys? So we got to make some picks here for who gets wrecked and who doesn't. So
okay.
We all know half the battle at Daytona is just being there at the end. So Zach, this is your idea. So you go with who you think are the hits and misses.
All right. So I'm gonna start out with miss first. I'm gonna say Blaney, Keselowski, and Dillon all miss a big wreck. Blaney, he seems to be pretty good at avoiding them. Keselowski, he's had his fair share of bad luck recently, but for the most part, he's kept his nose clean. And I think he's due for some good luck. And Dillon, somehow, some way, even with damage, he finds his way up near the top 10, top 5. I think he misses a big one. As far as I think who will not avoid it or hit, I'm gonna say Logano. Simply because he's had some issues in the past, and I don't know. I have a bad feeling about him. Buescher has wrecked, I believe I read 6 out of 8 starts in the Daytona 500. So I think that trend continues, unfortunately, for him.
1 second.
And then I think Cole Custer. He doesn't typically do well at the plate track. Last year was kind of miserable for him. And I had to add Cody Ware onto the list. He seemed to be involved in very, very, very copious amount of wrecks for the Daytona 500 over his career, and I don't see that changing. But hopefully, he surprises me. What about you, Tom?
All right, so the hits. Who is going to get hit? Who is going to get knocked out? I am going with William Byron. Okay, finishes up 26th or worse in 4 of his last 5 plate races. Okay, check me on the next one. Is Quinn Half on the entry list? I didn't even check that. I'm not even
No.
sure he's on the entry list.
He's not.
Well, then he goes to my miss category. He's a miss for sure.
There you go.
Because I wrote that based on statistics, and I'm like, I don't even know if he's in the race. So if he was in the race, he would be in a wreck. Finishes of 29th or worse in 4 of the last 5 races. And number 5, our favorite man with the French name, Mr. Villeneuve, just because he doesn't have much experience in this kind of car. Well, nobody has in this exact car. Plate racing is a different animal, and he's got an aggressive / reckless style. So I'm saying Villeneuve is my 3rd hit. And my miss, there are no long shots here, okay? Hamlin, Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick, 3 guys who historically come out with a lot of points from Daytona because they do well in stages and they are there at the end. So there we go. That's my hits and misses.
There you go.
Okay.
What about you, Aaron?
All right, for me, and I'm kind of surprised none of you picked him, but Ricky Rickhouse Jr.
Ricky Spinhouse himself.
Ricky Spinhouse Jr. himself is a definite hit. I mean, he's going to cost at least 1 or 2 cautions. I guarantee it. And then, Tom, I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with Jacques Villeneuve. That's such a fun name to say. Again, doesn't have much experience. Is a very aggressive driver when he's on the track, and it's just going to be kind of very interesting to kind of see what he's going to do on the track. And then for my 3rd pick, I'm going with Truex Jr. It seems like over the last few plate races, that dude just cannot avoid trouble for anything. He can be up front, in the back. He can be all by his lonesome and still cause trouble. And so I got to go with Truex Jr. for my 3rd. This was hard because, again, it's a restricted plate track. Anybody can get in anything at any time. And so I only put down 1, and I put down Kyle Busch. It seems like he has just the wheelman skills to just kind of avoid most of anything that comes his way. And I still remember that one time at Daytona where he saved the car about 3 times in one race and still won the damn thing. And so I'm going to go with Kyle Busch as my miss, and that's my only one because I didn't know we were going to do 3 or 1 or what. But miss was hard to try and find a driver.
Well, Kyle Busch is made some just incredible saves throughout his career. I mean, he has situations where anybody else wrecks the car and he saves it. So that's a good one to pick a miss because even if he gets in trouble, he might pull it out of it. So you never know, just because we've seen him do so many incredible things throughout his career. Okay.
Oh yeah.
If somebody doesn't like my braided stuff, yeah.
Oh, come on, man. It looks good.
It's just a little goofy thing. It covers up the gray. I wish I had the real long one like Johnny Depp had in Pirates of the Caribbean, but I don't think I can grow it that long. So anyway, all right, it is time for green flag, red flag. So this is your segment, Aaron. Take us through green flag, red flag.
Alrighty, and for those of you in the comments, if you have not been here before, during this segment, we encourage all of our viewers to kind of type in the comments to see whether they agree or disagree with our statements made and why, because we like to hear why. And so for our first statement of the night is the money team will be more successful in Daytona than New York Racing or NY Racing. Green flag or red flag? Zach, will go with you first.
So I know the NY racing car was produced at the Richard Childress Racing Shop. I have no clue who prepared the money team's car. Maybe Colleague, so maybe RCR. I don't know. But I know that NY Racing's car was produced at RCR shop, so I'm gonna have to go with Red Flag. I think NY Racing is going to be more successful. They have experience. They've ran Cup races before, so I do think that they'll be more successful.
All right, Tom, what say you?
I'm going to say, I'm going to say NY Racing. They are coming across at this point as being a more professional team. You've got a true professional driver in Greg Biffle. You've got an RCR prepared car, and I think RCR is going to have a much more competitive year this year. So I'm going to go with them based on both driver and what we know about where the car came from. And you know what? I got to say, Chickenfoot Racing here chiming in with what the hell is NY Racing. I gotta say, I'm not sure who I know much about them or who owns the team other than RCR prepared the car and Greg Biffle's driving it. So that's the sum total of what I know about that team. But I know even less about the money team. So I guess I guess this leaves us with you're the only one who hasn't chimed in, Aaron. What do you say?
I'm going to go Red Flag. I think NY Racing is going to be more successful. Just on the back that Greg Biffle has so much experience at Daytona, so much success at Daytona. And I got to think that his experience is going to be way more beneficial than, was it Kaz Gralla going to be for the money team? Is that right?
Kaz Gralla, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going with Greg Biffle over Kaz Gralla for that one. NY Racing all the way.
Hey, we got some people tuning in here late. Blade Fox is here. Dylan Smith is here.
What's going on, Blade?
Thanks for tuning in.
You're just in time for green flag, red flag, brother. Please chime in.
Yeah, so give us your comments, your opinions. Green flag, red flag. Keep going, Simoleons. What do we got next?
Alrighty. So, number 2 of the night is that Chevy will win the pole for the Daytona 500. Green flag or red flag? Tom, we'll start with you first.
I'm going to say red flag. I'm going to say red flag because I just think, you got some really fast cars coming out of the Gibbs stable. I think Stuart Haas is going to be more competitive. The Chevys are outnumbered based on the number of Fords in there. I know the pole doesn't mean a whole lot, but I'm going to say red flag. I'm going to say it's going to be a Toyota or a Ford.
All right, Zach, what you say?
Man, I'm gonna have to go with red flag as well. Chevy has won. Oh man, I think 7 out of the last 9 polls at Daytona 500. So it's hard to go against them, but I think it's going to be a Ford year just based off of practice times. But don't know for sure.
Yeah, I will probably go red flag as well. I mean, judging by the practice times on this board, for practice 1, the first Chevy you see is going to be Chase Elliott at 11th, and then for practice 2 is Daniel Suarez also at 11th. And so right now, based on these practice speeds, I've got to go with Ford. I got to go with Ford. I think Toyota is going to be real competitive, but I don't think they're going to get there. And then Chevy, I just don't think they're going to have the speed this year. And so I think it's going to be Ford all the way. And so I think, so you got Blade with red flag. We got Dylan with green flag. And I think that's also Mike Horror with red. I feel Toyota's going to win the poll. Not a bad pick.
David Reagan for pole.
David Reagan. Blade, dude, come on, man. I know you just turned 21, but
no,
man, no, come on, man. No.
Could happen.
I think he was like 3rd in practice for second practice in a Rick Ware racing car.
Whoa.
Actually, David Reagan got 2nd in practice 1.
Excuse me, in practice 1. Only 0.07 or 0.017 off.
I have to believe a gust of wind had something to do with that.
Or rocket fuel, man.
I don't know, man, because in practice 2, Cody Ware was 4th fastest.
This week's sign of the apocalypse: David Reagan and Cody Ware, top 5.
See, David Reagan, I more or less believe because he was decent at super speedway racing, but Cody Ware, what?
Yeah, man.
Maybe it's the apocalypse, but anyway, last one for the night. The Daytona duels will be completely single file throughout the race to save their cars for the 500. Green flag or red flag, Zach? Your take.
I'm gonna say red flag. I mean, there might be single file for some of the race, but I definitely think that there will be some 2x2 racing, especially with how hard some of these guys, other teams not chartered, have to race to get in. Definitely think it won't be single file. I'm gonna say red.
All right, Tom, what say you?
I'm going to say green flag. I don't think it'll be single file the entire race, but I think it will be a whole lot of follow the leader. When you have a top tier organization, and I mean a top tier like Stewart Haas Racing, and their top driver loads up to go to Daytona with one car, they're going to be careful. So I think you're going to see a lot of single file racing in the duels. So yeah, I'm going to say green flag.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go green flag here, especially with how the clash went for some of these teams, where we got at least Eric Amarola tearing up a car. You got I believe it was Haley also tearing up a car. A lot of these guys tearing up cars and breaking equipment, and so I think they're just gonna keep it easy throughout the duels and kind of just at least just get through them. And so I think that the duels aren't going to be completely anything noteworthy. But who knows? Who knows? We've been wrong before.
Yeah, could be. I mean, remember, at least one of them is going to have Jacques Villeneuve in it. So there's that.
That's true.
So
and also
I don't know.
And also Ricky Stenhouse. So
yeah.
Anyway, last one for the night. The 2022 Daytona 500 will be won by a first-time winner. Green flag or red flag? Tom, let's go to you.
I'm going to say red flag. We have so many guys in this field that have won at least one race somewhere in their career that I just don't think there are that many solid candidates for a first-time winner. Honestly, if I was going to pick somebody to be a first-time winner out of this, I would probably have to pick I'd probably have to go with Austin Cindric, but I just don't think it's going to happen just because you've probably got well over half the field that has at least one win under their belt. So yeah, I'm going to have to say that that's a red flag.
Yeah. For the heck of it, I'm going to say green flag. Just for the heck of it. I think maybe Daniel Suarez, LaJoy. I think it really just depends. I think the new car definitely has kind of shown that newer teams and drivers can compete on equal footing. So I think I'll go ahead and guess green flag. We'll see.
Okay. I will probably side with Tom here and go red flag. I think it'll be won by a first-time Daytona winner, but I don't think it'll be a first-time winner outright. I will be shocked to see if like someone like Biffle or Villeneuve won at Daytona. I mean, of course, Biffle's not a first-time winner, but first time in a very, very long time. And Villeneuve, God, I'll be surprised if he won. But anyway, I don't think it'll be won by a first-time winner.
All right, next up, one of the most popular segments that we have had, something that everybody has fun with. It is paint scheme face-off. And the rules are this: we put up 2 paint schemes, and then we say which one we like better. We encourage audience participation here. So as we put these paint schemes up here, tell us which one of these you guys pick and which one you guys like the best, and give us a little opinion on why. So with that, let's see if we can get this thing going. And I'm going to share my screen here. Paint scheme face-off. First up, the Bass Pro Shops battle. Martin Truex Jr. or Austin Dillon. So what do you guys think? Let's go with Aaron. What do you pick first?
For me, I got to go with Martin Truex Jr. I mean, I think the use of the orange and black just looks nice. It's very clean, and makes use of a lot of that space. Austin Dillon does too, but not near as much as Truex does. And really, I think the deep orange is a much more classical and cleaner look. So I'm going to go with Martin Truex Jr. Although Dillon doesn't look too bad either. I do like the white in there in the paint scheme as well, and does make use of all that space back there. I think Truex just looks a little bit better.
Okay. All right, Zach, what say you? Zach? Hello?
I'm thinking. I think I'm actually have to go with Austin Dillon's. I think they have a bigger tracker logo, which I think fits a lot better. Even though I don't really love the shade of orange, or it's not traditional. I like it. But yeah, I think I'll have to go with Austin Dillon here. I think it's good to see something new, something fresh. And it's the 50-year anniversary, so why not?
Yeah. But also, it's kind of weird that, again, I saw with the ring scheme too. They sponsor 2 different cars, 2 different organizations, but yet they use 2 different paint schemes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate the 19. It's traditional. It looks great, but I don't know. I like new things sometimes.
I'm going to go with Martin Truex Jr. I'm going to call his shade more of a red than an orange, and I like the red and black together. I just think it's a better color scheme fit than the black and orange. So I am going to go with Martin Truex Jr. on there just because I like the blending of the 2 colors better. So I'm going to go with Truex on that one. So all right, so we got 3 of these face-offs here. So let's see if we can get to face-off number 2, if I can do this. All right, this is Be True to Your School, William Byron versus Greg Biffle. So, Zach, if you're there, let's start with you this one.
I think you guys already know which car I like. That 44 looks absolutely amazing. I could care less whatever Liberty did with their scheme. I think all of the Hendrick fonts, as well as Toyota or JGR, they made their numbers way too small to fit. I don't know why, but they did. But oh my word, look at that! The gray, the shading. They even got some halfway decent sponsors like Puma on there. I think it's awesome. I love the big G on the front. But yeah, I gotta go with Greg Biffle by a mile here.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Biffle by a complete mile. And I think Liberty is just getting worse and worse by the year on their paint schemes. I mean, I don't get why they. I mean, I now don't get me wrong. I love the flames. I love flames on cars. It's iconic going back to, of course, Gordon. And that's where I learned to love flames on cars. But why would you do it for the entire side? It just looks so empty on that side. They made no use of the space above the exhaust port right there. And plus, the number is just way too damn small, like Zach said. It just doesn't look good. And then they have stripes on the hood. What? Why not just go? What? There's just too much going on here. I don't like it. I love the Grambling scheme by comparison. I do like the kind of like black and kind of like dark gunmetal gray kind of like tiger stripes all over the car. I'm not a fan of the yellow on the hood. I think it kind of hides the front logo too much. But besides that, I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you guys. I think it's definitely Greg Biffle in the 44. I love the black and yellow. Reminds me of my Steelers. Reminds me of my Steelers. So I think that's good. I look at the difference in the hoods. Look at the great big G and look at the tiny little LU. I don't think Liberty. They did a very good job with that paint scheme.
No.
The hood is
I don't think
almost
they
empty.
care.
They could have
Yeah.
literally made that logo on the hood 2 or 3 times the size that it is, and everything. And I look at that paint scheme for Liberty, and that to me would have been a much better scheme to roll out for like a 4th of July race or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely with you guys. I am picking Grambling over Liberty U. So
And Liberty schemes is getting worse and worse each year, just like their integrity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely
Adam
agree.
Lauer doesn't like either one.
Just like
He says it's a battle of uglies.
Just like the Exalta schemes too. Gotten worse and worse every single year.
All right, so we got one more here, and this is the little black cars. On the fashion shows, they always call them the little black dress. We're going to call it the little black cars. Who wore it better, BJ McLeod or Eric Jones?
You want to go first?
Yeah. I will say both of these don't look that great. Eric Jones' car, even though it is absolutely iconic, and I get why they did it for the Air Force, it just looks bland. Not really much visual appeal going on with that car. And then BJ McLeod, even though I do the cars with it, it's NASCAR Ignition. Screw that game, screw that company. I'm going with Eric Jones all the way because it's more iconic, and screw even more sports games.
Yeah, to me, our U.S. military versus a broken video game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, granted, I'm kind of like Aaron. It could have been, the paint scheme could have been NASCAR Ignition versus flaming pile of dog poop, and I would have picked the dog poop. So
yeah,
I'm a little bit biased based on who is on the 78 car, but I definitely got to go with the 43 and Eric Jones.
Yeah.
If we're talking about paint schemes, I don't care necessarily so much about the sponsors, although I love the Air Force car. I just think the 78 has a lot more color. It might be due to the fact that it has the NASCAR logo on it, but it seems a lot more. The space was utilized a lot better than what has even been previously used on.
Blade, I agree.
43. So it kind of waste of space, unfortunately, for the 43. Looks really bland, not a lot of color. I got to go with the 78 right here, just because it looks more filled and halfway decent. So
yeah.
Okay, we got to show a comment here on screen.
Oh Lord. I knew that was coming.
Oh, thank you, Adam. Unfortunately, I don't have a car with my face like Corey LaJoy did, but we're in the works. We're trying to. If we get the loose lug nuts up here, and maybe we can afford a sponsorship.
So, okay, yeah. That's what we're going to do if we get our viewership up, is put Zach's face on the car. That's the first thing we're going to do with our money. Yeah. Hold your breath for that one.
You could just put like the just have my eyes. Maybe Adam Lauer will be okay with that.
Oh, thanks,
Blade,
Blade.
you're my new best friend.
Yay! Thanks, buddy.
Okay. All right, it is time for us to wind this thing down. We are down to our. Wait a minute, make sure I know where I'm at. Yep. We are down to our white flag. Time for each of us to make a parting comment. And then we will be wrapping this baby up. So Any volunteers for going first on the white flag comments?
I will. Something I found really, really interesting. So previously, we've heard reports of Roger Penske, or no, I'm sorry, Penske's Xfinity team not running for the next upcoming season. That was hinted with part of the reason why Moneyline was moving to 2311 Racing because they didn't have enough sponsored cars in order to fill the sponsorship. So apparently that's why they moved. But on SiriusXM NASCAR, Roger Penske said that they do plan on racing an Xfinity this season. So the question is, who will get that ride? Will it be a combination of drivers? And will they use it as kind of like a practice session, extra practice race for their Cup drivers? I don't know. But I think that's pretty interesting because all reports pretty much said that they were going to not run the Xfinity Series because they're starting up an IMSA team here shortly. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Have to keep an eye on that. But anyway, as for my party comments, all I gotta say is thank God Daytona's here. Thank God the season is starting this weekend because I can't go another weekend without NASCAR. It's been too damn long. I mean, the Clash was just like a good appetizer, but now I'm ready to dive into the main course. The main regular season of NASCAR is always intense. It's always kind of shaky back and forth. Who's going to get in? Who's not? Who's going to win a race? All that. I'm ready for that drama again. I'm ready to get back into NASCAR, damn it.
All right, I want to show a couple of comments here. Adam Lauer. My party comment is my daughter is crying, but I love you guys. Talk to you. Take care of that kiddo. I've been dealing with my kid who's trying to get over COVID and he is struggling with it, but I think we're turning the corner. Take care of that kiddo, and so glad you're getting to spend the time with her. She will remember her daddy taking care of her. So Blade Fox, I did not know you had a broken foot, but get well soon, my friend. Get well soon.
Brother. Get well soon, man.
Yeah. My parting comment is it's racing season, like Aaron said. Think about what's going to happen. We have qualifying tomorrow, okay? Then we have 4 straight days of racing. We got the duels on Thursday. We got, I think, the trucks Friday, the Xfinity Saturday, and then we have the big show on Sunday. So we got 4 straight days of racing. We qualifying tomorrow. If you can't qualify, that's 5 days. It's racing season, and we're starting off with a bang. So I am pumped. I am excited. So that's my parting comment.
Really quick, not to take anything away from that, but I wanted to give an update. Apparently, according to Bob Pockrass, Hendrick, SHR, Penske, and RCR did not bring backups to Daytona. They would have them at the shop in North Carolina, but they did not bring them. JGR has backups ready, but not in the garage. Trackhouse, 2311, Roush Fenway Kozlowski Racing, Front Row, and JT Daugherty have a backup or 2 here at Daytona. So all the top 4 teams do not have backups.
That is, pay attention very carefully. That is the real Bob Pockrass, right? Because there is a fake one that has 3 S's that does fake news that I think he should be hung, whoever that is.
But, he has the check mark. They did not bring backups.
Well, the fake one has a check mark too.
Yeah.
But it's 2 S's. It's 2 S's?
2 S's.
Okay, that's the real one.
Okay, that's the real one.
Okay.
Yes. But something on that though is that because Roush, or not Roush, what I'm talking about, RCR, we're preparing some of the other cars like the 62 Beard Oil car, the what was I saying earlier? The Grambling State car, Biffle's car, NY Racing, and a couple other ones. Potentially, that's the reason why they are having alliances with these other teams, is because they can just buy the chassis and the cars off of them if they wreck them, and then they don't have to worry about having another car. So I thought that was interesting. Forming alliances to have extra chassis is pretty important, potentially.
Yep, true. Okay. All right. So I think that is the end of our white flag. Everybody's had their chance to say it. It is. I am excited. I am disheveled. I am disorganized. I am all over the place today because I am excited about racing season. Let's bring it on.
Hell yes.
So, but we will see you guys next week, next Tuesday, 9:00, and we will have actual races to talk about. So can't wait. Until then, be safe out there. Be careful. Wear your mask. Do what you got to do to protect yourself and your family. And make sure you tune into all the races and tune into us next Tuesday. So we will see you guys then.
See y'all.
See you guys.